The Public Service Union threatens to continue pressuring government to reverse an offer of a wage freeze for its members, government to set up a loan facility for local manufacturers, and Hummingbird Air to suspend operations effective 1st of April. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. First up, the Public Service Union has threatened to place mounting pressure on government if it fails to change an offer of a wage freeze to public servants. This as the PSU hosted a solidarity rally on Thursday evening.
Friends, we can take it no longer. We are prepared to fight for our rights. We are prepared to make sacrifices. We are prepared to lose whatever it has to take. And we are not going to give up.
Despite what later considers intimidation, he says he will continue to pressure the authorities for a salary increase on behalf of public servants. Later woke up to his vehicle tires slashed on Thursday morning.
For 3 years, we are never consulted. There is absolutely no dialogue with us. And when we get to the negotiating table, you tell us you're going to give us a wage freeze? No way are we going to accept a wage freeze. They have to find the money to pay for the officers. That cannot be our business, my friend. And these are the reasons that they're giving to us, you know. They tell us that they are paying everybody over 70 years $250 or $300. That is none of our business. We are not saying you shouldn't pay them, but you have to give us salary too. These are the reasons that they give us.
Later says the results of government's job classification exercise should not impact negotiations for salary increase.
See that classification exercise, and if you want, I have it right here. When you look at the list, about 75% is either you are downgraded or you remain at the position where you are. You know, I heard some remark today, Brother Joseph, that teachers are going to benefit. According to what I have, the university teachers, it's only the school principals who will benefit. Qualified and unqualified teachers are not going to benefit. They have been either remain at the level or be downgraded. Now you have to know those things. Just come to the office, we'll share information with you. Right? These are the things. So we are saying classification and salary increase are two separate issues. You cannot mix the two.
Meantime, a former member of the Public Service Commission is encouraging public servants to adopt a militant approach to show their disapproval for a wage freeze. Retired school principal John Alexis told public servants that such an offer would not have been accepted during the late 1970s to early 80s.
All these things, brothers and sisters, are symptomatic of a gathering storm on you and your union. If you agree, I say to you, therefore, that it is time now for you to restart the engines of militancy that once characterized the Public Service Union. Some effective pushback is required to stem the tide of growing contempt and disrespect for the union. And it is now you must do this. That will happen when every one of you clearly understands that the union is the only protective shell you have against unfair industrial relations practices in the workplace.
However, Alexis said later on in his speech that he was not inciting people to strike, but only informing them of the options available to them.
Offer you 0% at a time when the countries are awash with money. Brothers and sisters, the salary you enjoy today would have been much less if people like us did not stand up for what they deserve. You now need to do something for yourselves, for your children, and for posterity. And let me warn you, you must not let political affiliation interfere with your decision. When the time comes to vote, you go and vote for who you want. But when it comes for your own well-being, your public service union salary, you must stand up.
On to housing now, where government is in the process of acquiring land for a housing development on Kennedy Avenue. The Prime Minister Skerrit announced at a town hall meeting in Roseau on Thursday night that the plan is to build an apartment complex with 60 units near the financial center.
So the government will acquire this land very soon and will erect 60 apartment units that will go towards the residents of Roseau. And on the ground floor of these apartment units, we will have commercial space that will be rented out to a number of the small businesses in Roseau who are subjected to very high monthly rents and sometimes cannot see their way because there are higher rents in Roseau. A lot of the young people who are doing the hair and the nails and the pedicure and manicure, you know, who have little shops and so forth in the city, we will provide adequate accommodation for you at a highly concessionary monthly rental.
Mr. Skerritt has also assured Roseau residents of his government's intention to eradicate pit latrines in the city. In other news, manufacturers have been assured that a loan facility for their use is in the making, following their recent proposal to government. Minister for Commerce and Small Business Development Rosalind Paul was at the time announcing the approval of $1 million on lend to those involved in the music industry. She told a town hall meeting at Point Michel this week manufacturers will not be left out.
We're working with the manufacturers, and the intention is to put a similar facility in place, targeting manufacturers and agro-processors. So this government has a holistic plan for this country, and we are using the money to reinvest in our people. And what money are we using? The money, the revenue from the Citizenship by Investment program.
No word yet on the exact loan amount that will be made available. However, the Prime Minister had announced in December that the loan would be offered at an interest rate of no more than 3%. A special committee of 7 manufacturers chaired by Severin McKenzie presented a proposal to government in January upon the request of the Prime Minister, detailing the level of assistance required. Before that, a situation analysis of the manufacturing sector was done to determine the challenges of manufacturers. Government intends on providing financing to manufacturers in relation to challenges over procurement, packaging, raw material, and working capital. Hummingbird Air has announced it is suspending operations effective the 1st of April. The St. Croix-based airline began offering aviation services in 2014 by transporting passengers and cargo. Presently, it connects Dominica, St. Croix, and St. Thomas. This development is not entirely new, as the airline has suspended operations a few times during its 3 years of operation. In a statement to customers, Managing Director Sam Raphael noted that the company was in the process of negotiating with a new management group to take over the airline's operations. He goes on to advise customers of its parcel delivery service, ShopNet, to ensure that their final orders arrive at its U.S. Virgin Islands office no later than March 25, 2017, to ensure delivery. To the courts now, where bus driver Kurt Pemberton was sentenced on Friday to 4 years, 7 months in jail after pleading guilty to a charge of grievous bodily harm with intent in January. This is in connection with a cutlass attack on his girlfriend Bianca Blanchard in November 2015. The incident took place at her place of work in Roseau. A social inquiry report on Pemberton painted him as a peaceful person and that the incident was out of character. The November 2015 attack happened when Blanchard demanded her keys after coming home to find Pemberton with another woman. After the brutal attack, Blanchard was hospitalized and required surgery. Her doctor says she will never recover 100% use of her hands, which require continuous therapy. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, the treatment of Showdown Mass Camp this year and a word to owners of abandoned farms. This is Channel 5 News. The Dominica Calypso Association has come out in strong defense against claims of ill treatment towards the Showdown Mass Camp. As is customary after the Calypso season, the association hosts a review session to hear from those involved in the art form, their concerns, and ways of improving the product moving forward. At the start of the season, founder of Showdown Mass Camp Pat Aaron confirmed to Channel 5 News that the tent was starting the year under a high debt. During the review session, Annie Aaron of Showdown Mass Camp once more raised the issue of financial difficulties at the tent.
And this tent is really not being treated fairly. For the past 4 years, Mass Camp have been going through a real financial crisis, and we're still here making the effort, and thanks to the Calypsonians, they come and sing, because I think they like doing it, so they come and sing. But in the end, there's nothing to give them at the end after they sing, because we don't make money, right? You have a short, but to have a tent, it costs you $15,000. You collect $3,000 at the day. That's only for the sound system only.
However, Public Relations Officer of the Calypso Association says the association always assists Mass Camp financially when asked to do so, and that the tent may have to look into getting better sponsorship.
Mass Camp may have been going through the financial difficulties where artists may not be able to get paid, mainly because Mass Camp not raising the level of sponsorship that probably required. So the only reason why Stardom might be able to pay the Calypsonians a little better is because we are raising more sponsorship than Mass Camp over the period of time that Annie is talking about.
Aaron also called for another band to be used at the national level competitions for greater fairness to all the Calypsonians.
There should be a neutral band playing for the quarters, the semi-finals, and the finals. Stardom cannot be coming and play for Mass Camp artists, and we don't sing at the tents. You know, they don't get the right treatment. The musicians play sour notes. You know, the backups don't sing for them. Something always going wrong. And then what happens? They have to mess up, and then they're out of the competition.
To this concern, the association's PRO says the organizing body tries its utmost to select a band that will do justice to all performers.
What I can say on behalf of Calypso Association is that Calypso Association hires a band which we feel is quite capable of playing for Calypsonians. Now, in terms of the sour notes, I hear in sour notes playing for everybody. I just get sour notes. And so, I mean, sour notes is a thing that plays for everybody.
And one of the Calypsonians involved in this year's biggest Calypso controversy has spoken out on the matter. Andrea Louis has that story.
Chester Daddy Chess later, who tied for a second runner-up with Denison Dice Joseph, expressed his dissatisfaction with the results at the annual Calypso Review on Thursday. Later says although the show was held weeks ago, it is not too late for the results to be corrected.
Usain Bolt lost a gold medal that took place 8 years ago because one of the team members cheated. He lost that gold medal 8 years later, which was probably in January. So if something has to be corrected, it can be corrected. It does not have to be corrected on the time. That's my first point.
The Calypsonian pointed out that the formula to break ties has been known and used several times and demanded to know why this was not the case on the night of the finals.
And I will go on record to say, I know what my scores are, I know what Dice's scores are, and I know if the tie had been broken, and I will go on record to say that if the tie had been broken based on the formula, I would have been first runner-up. Every year there is a tie. The public just does not know about it. I myself, I know I have been involved in 3 times. It's probably more than that. Every time they break the tie, what I want to know is what was so special about that night that tie was not broken.
Chief Judge Patrick Pemberton, who was also at the review, refused to give an explanation as to why the tie was maintained on the night of the finals.
All I can tell you is the scores that were calculated for the conditions will be just and the scores of the 9 judges. Now, if we have to go into details of why it wasn't booked at time, there's a lot of finger pointing you will have that. I'm not getting involved in that. My position is very clear. I came, I did an honest job. I think the other judges did an honest job to put the scores together. Now, we had some faux pas, if you want to call it that, as to why it was not, the time was not broken. I'm not going to come now and say, it's John Brown or it's Paul, why we didn't break it. I'm not going to say that.
As a result of the tie, the prize money for first and second runners-up was equally split between Daddy Chess and Dice.
And trade facilitator Thompson Fontaine believes owners of abandoned farms could bring them back into production or productive use to increase the amount of agricultural produce being exported. Fontaine is behind an initiative providing the Martinique market with more than 20 types of local produce. There are plans to export to other regional markets, but a refrigerated boat is needed. He is calling on government to come on board in that regard.
I believe that we can fix readily the production because there's a lot of land available to farmers. There are people, one of the things that have been happening lately as well, people are offering up their lands and saying that they want to go into some kind of contractual arrangement with people who want to use the land. So that is something else that we're exploring, where people who do not have land, but they can hook up with a landowner, farm, and then make some arrangement to pay the owner of the land for the use. So these are all things that I'm very excited about, and I think that there is a lot of scope, you know. So the land is there, the production I believe will come, but we definitely need to really focus and get this shipping aspect of it really nailed down to make sure that everything can move smoothly.
Fontaine is also looking at exporting agro-processed goods in the future.
My preference obviously would be agro-processing, to process everything we have, add value, and then export. For the time being, we don't have that in place, so we are just focused on the raw produce. But that is something down the line, 2-3 years down the line, we certainly going to be exploring. We've already started thinking about it and seeing how we can add more value to what we produce. And I'll give you an example of this. For example, even in terms of the farine, when you export or the toloma, I mean, when you transform the cassava into toloma, it costs, I mean, right now you can sell a pound for $12, all right? That's what the farmers are getting, $11, $12 a pound because they transform it.
Root crops, spices, citrus fruits and farine are among produce being exported. A local government leader is calling on central government to improve relations with his community and its council. Incoming chairman of the Coliho Village Council, Mitchell Agrosweet John, explained villagers seem to be left in the dark when government plans activities in the community. Mitchell and 7 of his fellow councillors took their oath of office at the council's 19th inaugural meeting on Monday.
Communicate with council. This is very important. I have been on the council for 6 months because I went through the by-election. And that was a concern that villagers had. Anytime an activity would be happening in the community from central government, they would meet me and ask other councillors to what's going on. And I think it's a shame that we will say we don't know. If we are a council, local government, those who are given the responsibility to govern the village, it's a shame that we will say we don't know. So I'm hoping that this new council will motivate central government to communicate with us information and ideas with us so we can have the information in our minds so that when the villagers come to us, we'll be able to express to them what's really going on in the community.
He re-emphasized the need for consultation between central government and his community as it relates to concerns from its young residents over the playing field.
And of course, I've got one more suggestion to make to central government. This is one that every young person have, especially the young men. And I feel very bold and confident in saying this with no fear, no fear at all. The young persons are concerned about the playing field. They have expressed time and time again that they would like to see something done about the playing field. Again, in my capacity as councillor and the former council, I tried my best to get the information, but again, I was told that central government is dealing with it. Consultation is again very important when it comes to the village. Perhaps that's the point, perhaps that's what's going on, that central government is dealing with it. But we should not leave villagers, we should not leave the people wondering what is going on. Because if the people do not know the information that's happening, they will make assumptions, and assumptions can lead to deadly consequences.
Coliho is a community on the island's west coast known for its traditional culture, mining, agriculture and fisheries. That's news. Sports is next with Kenny Williams.
The Dominica Cricket Association has appointed Ray Kazemi as the women's head coach ahead of the Windward Islands Cricket Tournament later this year. Kazemi says it's an honor to help bolster the Dominican cricketing product.
Pleasure to lead the women's team. It's an honor to try to give back to Dominica cricket.
He says he has to iron out a few things before getting things going with the women's team.
I have to meet them here today, but apparently I'm now facing some problems and can't get them to come out there today. Some of the women are talking about consent forms and letters to the workplace, which the association has to do. And that is why I'm at now trying to see if I can get the association to get some letters going out there to the girls so that they can start to train, because as you know, the tournament is in the next 2 weeks and a half or whatever, and we need to start training. And as you know, women's cricket is already on a back burner where they're always behind times. So now we have to try to get them to gel together. And then I have to meet the Dominica Cricket Association development officer, cricket development officer, to put things in place.
On to football, where Mao Soka Strikers have booked a spot in the finals of the Dominica Football Association's Division 1 League with a win against RC Doctors on Thursday.
Mao Soka Strikers are in with another chance to play football in the Premier League. They edged out RC Doctors 2-1 last night at the Pori playing field to book a spot in the grand finals on Sunday. Nick Anthony and Geron Sebastian scored one each in the first half for a 2-0 advantage at the interval. Kirby Pascal pulled one back for RC Doctors in the second half, but Soka Strikers were able to hold on for that all-important win. The finals will be played at the Geneva grounds from 3 p.m. with Soka Strikers taking on Digicel Newton Juvenile Academy Harlem United.
Meantime, in the DFA Sports Division Secondary School Girls Competition on Thursday, Portsmouth Secondary hammered Orion Academy 11-0 in the first match of a doubleheader.
Star Humphrey scored 6 times for PSS, with Shanice Frank scoring a hat-trick. Brittany Marsland and Melinda Andre scored one each. In the second match, Cassibro Secondary and Isaiah Thomas Secondary played to a 1-1 draw. Sherry Ann Abraham scored for Cassibro Secondary, with Shanice Joseph scoring for ITSS.
In related sports, 8 schools have booked spots in the quarterfinals of the 2017 National Bank of Dominica's Primary School Football Boys League with wins this week. On Thursday, Goodwill Primary topped the West Valley Central Zone, followed by Rosa Primary School. In the East Zone, Grand Forks Primary placed first and W.S. Stevens second. The quarterfinals will feature matches among the Roosevelt Douglas, Roseau, Goodwill, Calibishi, St. Mary's, W.S. Stevens, Grand Forks, and Castle Bruce Primary Schools on March 28. More sports now. The Trinidad quartet of Lendl Simmons, Kieran Pollard, Samuel Badri, and Sunil Narayan has been picked by West Indies selectors to play the T20 portion of the limited overs against Pakistan in May. ESPN Cricinfo says the players were informed of their selection earlier this week by WICB Selection Committee head Courtney Brown. However, it is not clear if they will be featured in the final 2 games of the T20 series, since they are part of the various franchise in the Indian Premier League, which begins 3 days after the West Indies and Pakistan T20 games. Based on the WICB policy to only pick players who featured in the Regional Super 50, none of the 4 are expected to be available for selection for the ODI segment of the Pakistan series, which follows the T20s. The West Indies versus Pakistan T20 series begins on March 26. In basketball, St. Mary's Academy defeated Goodwill Secondary 75-34 in the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-20 Boys Basketball Championships on Thursday. For SMA, Kinaya Lloyd got 17 points and was efficiently assisted by Kohath Barron's 17 points, with 14 in the fourth quarter. Jonathan Henderson also scored 16 points for the winning team. For Goodwill Secondary, Elijah Popo had a game high of 21 points, while D. Eugene chipped in with 11. On the international scene, South Africa led by 81 runs with 1 wicket remaining at the end of day 2 of their second test against New Zealand on Friday. Resuming on 24 for 2, South Africa reached 349 for 9 after 95 overs. Quinton de Kock added 91, while Temba Bavuma assisted with 89. Final scores at the end of day 2, New Zealand 268 all out, South Africa 349 for 9 in 95 overs. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Have yourself an awesome weekend.
We check in now with the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Correa. Let's move on now to some earlier infrared satellite imagery. A trough system affected weather conditions this afternoon across Dominica and the rest of the Lesser Antilles, and that will continue to affect weather conditions later this evening. What is also of significance to us is this frontal system here moving southward, and it is expected to affect weather conditions on Sunday. Let's move on now to some earlier visible satellite imagery, and what it showed is some low-level clouds across Dominica and the rest of the islands of the Eastern Caribbean. Earlier radar imagery indicated scattered showers over in the Atlantic just east of the islands, and these showers are expected to move westward, affecting Dominica and the rest of the Lesser Antilles later this evening. Therefore, the weather is expected to be mostly cloudy to overcast at times with scattered showers. A relative improvement is expected tomorrow. Partly cloudy and breezy conditions with some scattered showers is expected. Let's move on now to the marine forecast. Once again, sea conditions will be moderate and waves are expected to peak up to 8 feet. Therefore, small craft operators and sea weavers, please do continue to exercise caution. Let's move on now to the 3D forecast. Tomorrow, Saturday, as I said, a relative improvement is expected. Partly cloudy and breezy conditions with some scattered showers expected. However, on Sunday, another trough system will be affecting weather conditions. Mostly cloudy to overcast skies with some scattered showers, mainly in the morning, is expected. Therefore, persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks, please do exercise caution. On Monday, occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers, mainly in the afternoon period, is forecasted. Let's move on now to the weather for the rest of the Caribbean. Well, partly cloudy skies with some scattered showers is expected for the northern portion of the islands, whereas mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be anticipated for the southern portion of the Lesser Antilles. On the international scene, well, New York can expect some snow tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies for Miami, Caracas, and Beijing, and once again some overcast skies expected over in the city of London. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:11 a.m. and will set at 6:16 p.m. Feel free to visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us next time for our next weather broadcast. Thank you for listening.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Public Service Union threatens to continue pressuring government to reverse an offer of a wage freeze for its members. Government to set up a loan facility for local manufacturers, and Hummingbird Air to suspend operations effective the 1st of April. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNews17thMarch2k17. You can access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.